Alright guys, real quick, I pinky promise next video is coming soon. It looks like it's gonna break the 30-minute mark, so you guys have fun with that. In the meantime, some stuff has happened. So a bit of context first. There was a game called X-COM, which I'm sure some of you know about because of a video that I put out nearly 2 years ago, which also, holy crap, that was nearly 2 years ago. But it was made by a gentleman named Julian Gollop. After the initial X-COM series, Julian Gollop got out as Hasbro took things over, and then we had the X-COM Dark Ages, and Julian did his own thing until a couple years back when Mr. Gollop announced Phoenix Point, a spiritual successor to the original X-COM games he'd made back in the day that had a very interesting premise, as well as what looked like a system almost like VATS, where not only do you have your turn-based tactics a la X-COM, but you can also choose to target specific parts of the aliens in order to cripple them. Julian launched a campaign for this game Phoenix Point on Tim Schafer's crowdfunding platform, Fig. The crowdfunding campaign was a success, bringing in over $2 million between pledging backers and potential investors. Flash forward just under 2 years to where we are today and we get the source of the controversy. Julian Gollop recently announced that Phoenix Point and the company that he makes that is making Phoenix Point, Snapshot Games, is in partnership with Epic Games and will be a 1-year exclusive on the Epic Games store. Things did not go over well, whether it was already done so to begin with or as a result of the initial backlash. The video announcing the Epic Games tie-in is now unlisted. It appears that a few of the videos on the Phoenix Point official YouTube channel got disliked bombed, and the subreddit of about 3,000 people plus the forums are in open revolt. There was a subsequent AMA on the Phoenix Point subreddit that did not go well over at all, at least in my opinion, where on top of everyone already being extremely agitated that Epic Games and their storefront, which is not very popular in the eyes of a lot of gamers, is now going to get a 1-year exclusivity deal on a game that they pledged to on the grounds that they could get it on Steamworks or GOG. What could possibly exacerbate that, you might ask? Well, apparently, according to a few answers in the AMA, it was not Epic who approached Snapshot, but rather the other way around. This completely flies in the face of the concept of crowdfunding by, yeah, we got the money from you guys, but we're gonna go find some corporate masters anyway. And then to, in a well-meaning way, dump a bucket of kerosene on this fire. In the AMA, they said that they considered this decision heavily and that they decided to open up the opportunity for full refunds to backers. However, they also mentioned that, well, even if literally all of you refunded, we would still be in the black. Which frankly, don't say that. Like, you could have left that bit out and it would have been a better move. But now it creates the image that you just took the money and you don't care about your backers anymore. You gotta remember that a Reddit AMA is a PR thing, and that is very bad PR to say. And if anything, I really hope Snapshot has some sort of PR figure or someone that should be there saying, wait, no, maybe don't mention that. We didn't need to know that, but now that we know that, we are even more upset. Personally for this, I am just extremely disappointed, but I wouldn't say overtly mad at Julian Gollop and Snapshot Games, which I'll get into a bit more in a sec, but maybe it's in part because just living in the United States and how polarized we are right now, I'm desensitized to this. Like, we're doing a lot of wild stuff right now, so video game drama just doesn't quite tickle me the way it used to. As for the title question in this video, let's think about it. Should we actually be worried about Phoenix Point itself? Personally, I say no. If anything, this is just more money to further polish the game, and as I mentioned in the AMA thread, this will allow them to have more post-launch support for the game. That does not have anything to do with the launcher itself, but Phoenix Point in and of itself, well, I will begrudgingly likely download it onto the Epic Games platform because I paid money for this stuff, and this is a game that I very much wanted. As soon as it comes out for Steam, I'm going to uninstall it on that platform and uninstall Epic. As for the subject matter of Epic Games, I've been mostly ambivalent about it because for me, it was a Fortnite machine that I eventually just took off my computer when I got bored of playing Fortnite. I can see why people are upset about it. They are now very upset that they're luring people in with free video games, but they're just a very half-baked platform, and there might be some questionable stuff going on, which we're gonna get to in a sec. However, I can't help but be reminded of how Steam initially came onto the scene by forcing you to download the client in order to play Half-Life or the newer versions of Counter-Strike, and that while Steam itself certainly isn't a bastion of good business practices, look at all these loot boxes and what have yous, this very much to me feels like a be careful what you wish for type of situation. For years and years now, people were screaming to the rooftops, please, please, let there be a big, legitimate competitor to Steam because Steam has a monopoly. Monopoly bad. We need a hero to fight this. And oh look, a hero came to fight this, but it wasn't exactly someone you wanted to fight this. Epic Games was all its Unreal Engine money and all its Fortnite money was suddenly in a position to bankroll something big enough to be a legitimate competitor to Steam. And we don't like the way they're going about it. You are completely in the right to choose to believe that, yes, I do not like how Epic is doing this. I personally do not like how Epic is doing it myself, but so far I have not had to have any vested interest in that because everything they've offered for free so far is stuff that I already either own or I'm just not interested in it. What I find to be really interesting here is that this changes our mindset of how this whole Epic exclusive thing works. We also have to consider right now that this changes the way that we have to look at Epic game exclusives. While previously with stuff like Metro, we thought that this was Epic just cornering game developers and saying, hey, we're going to show you this big fat wad of cash and you're going to be an exclusive for us despite of any other obligations you had to other game platforms. And it was sort of a thing where they were being lured in with money. They were being aggressively sought out, which might be the case. However, we have to acknowledge that this time around, someone came to Epic looking for that money. And that is something that we have to at least look from the position of a producer or developer and say, hey, maybe they're just trying to do the best they can for their game, and if Epic is willing to shell out that much cash, maybe we should take it. Remember again that we used to really hate Steam, and we still don't like Steam, but it got better. And hopefully Epic will get better. Do I like that Snapshot Games decided to disregard the idea that they were going to be completely crowdfunded from Fig? No. Do I like the idea of it being on the Epic Store, a platform that I do not like personally? No. Will I still play Phoenix Point? Yes. I've been waiting a couple years from now to play literally the only thing that I have backed in a Kickstarter, and I intend to play it for better or for worse, and I have not seen anything to give me any reason to believe that the quality of the game itself will be affected. Now let's get to the other big question in the title of this video, which is Epic Games actually spying on you? And there's some very interesting revelations that just came out recently. Someone on the Phoenix Point subreddit did some crawling through their processes and noticed that Epic Games was doing some weird stuff. Particularly, it was crawling the Steam data, from the program Steam, to find out what their idea was, what they were playing, and who their friends were. This, of course, lends a lot of credence to the often spouted thing that Epic Games is basically spyware. To make things just that much spicier, it was recreated on a couple different forums to show that yes, whatever this was, it was not some sort of fluke or fake, this was something actually going on. I read around a bit more and there were a few reasonable explanations as to what this was, but that doesn't make the contents of what they're looking for any less worrying. And additionally, a man named Dan Vogel, VP of, let me see his title here. Dan Vogel, VP of Engineering for Epic Games Inc., offered his own explanation, which I will read verbatim here to show no funny business. We are using a tracking pixel, tracking.js, for our support a creator program so we can pay creators and also track page statistics. The launcher sends a hardware survey, CPU, GPU, and the like, at regular interval as outlined by our privacy policy. See the information we collect and receive section. You can find the code here. UDP traffic highlighted in this post is a launcher feature for the communication with Unreal Editor, the source of the underlying system on GitHub. The majority of the launcher UI is implemented in using web technology, that is my cat, not the quote, that is being rendered by Chromium, which is open source. The root certificate and cookie access mentioned above is a result of a normal web browser startup. The launcher scans your active processes to prevent updating games that are currently running, this information is not sent to Epic. We only import your Steam friends through your explicit permission. The launcher makes an encrypted local copy of your localconfig.vdf Steam file. However, the information from this file is only sent to Epic if you choose to import your Steam friends, and then only hashed IDs of your friends are sent and no other information from the file. Epic is controlled by Tim Sweeney. We have lots of external shareholders, none of whom have access to consumer data. Dan Vogel, VP of Engineering, Epic Games Inc. End quote. So from the get-go, 1, yikes. 2, while Dan's explanation is kind of calming, I'd rather them ask my permission first before even starting to collect that data, and this just gives me more good cause to boot Epic off of my computer until Phoenix Point comes around. As for the hysteria, you know what, gamers like to whip themselves into a frenzy, it's just what we do. I can't help but be reminded of a bunch of other programs I have on my computer right now that are actively tracking my Steam account, such as Origin for Apex Legends because I want to play with my Steam friends, or Discord that shows everyone that I'm currently playing a game right now. However, both of those programs asked for my permission first. It was something I actively had to opt into. Whereas with this Epic thing, we didn't opt into this. And even though you can eventually consent for them to link accounts so that you can see your friends from Steam on your Epic games, and even though they are not sending that information to Epic proper, wherever they might hold all that data, I still personally do not like that they are collecting it like that. Yes, from what we can see here, it seems to be at least relatively minor information, your Steam account, what you're playing, who you're playing with, but I'm gonna have to invoke slippery slope / thin edge of the wedge here, saying that, okay, I don't like where this is going. Can we stop this before the ball gets rolling any further? As for the excuses that this is just to make sure that you don't accidentally start updating a game or program you are actively running, okay, I think there are better ways to do that, but I am not any sort of computer engineer, and frankly, this whole thing just kind of stinks. There is a last-minute silver lining to this, which is that March 14th, early in the morning, Steam announced an update to its SDK that will allow for a bunch of benefits to partner developers, such as network use and protections from DDoS, and a whole other bunch of things that will help improve latency. Well, I don't really know much about this myself because I am not a developer. Just going off the headers here, they've got the access to the Valve network, ping estimation tools, an open source end-to-end protocol, and they are offering more in the near future, which I like this idea because that means that maybe Steam is finding a way to compete with the buckets of money that Epic Games has to throw around. Personally, with all the money they make off of various forms of crates, weapon skins, and the like, I think they could actually start throwing money around. However, I understand if someone in the Valve offices realizes that that is not a precedent they want to set to where in order to be a major game distributing platform, you have to be able to have the kind of capital to constantly be entering bidding wars in order to get games on your platform. That sounds like a terrible idea. Maybe like in the beginning, in some short-sighted sense, devs will be really happy that they can get a big lump sum of cash to make their game better just by picking a particular team, but that is not the kind of competition we want on our game platforms, because that is eventually going to end in a crash when no one can afford to keep it up anymore. Fortnite money isn't gonna last forever. Dota, CSGO money, and the like is not going to last forever, folks. So that would not be a very good practice if we kept on doing it. As for this potential new angle of offering things that developers can actually use to improve their games, I like it. I personally find this a bit better than the current Steam versus Origin now versus the Epic Games Store, where we just see who can throw the most free games at their player base, which most of these games anyway are games that are either long past their point of relevancy to the point of where, well, I already own all these, or sometimes at least what I really liked was the Origin platform is that they gave away all these but goodies that you just couldn't quite find anymore. And I was really happy that some of those games were made on the house. I really wish that Steam would do it more. However, I think it's a developer to developer thing if people decide decide that their game is going to go free for a limited amount of time on the platform. Either way, I really hope to see more of this general improvement to the, I guess, system of the game platform arms race. I'm really disappointed at all of this. I'm still going to play the Phoenix Point game when it comes out. However, this is just more reason, at least for me, to uninstall the Epic Games platform. I don't even really play Fortnite anyway. There's too many 12-year-olds. I went back to Minecraft. There's no 12-year-olds there anymore. Thank you so much for watching. Callouts, shoutouts, yada, yada, yada. Real video coming eventually. I'm hoping by the end of this month, but no promises as I'm rolling into my midterms right now. Thank you, Patreon supporters. Thank you, everyone else. Sign-offs are stupid and I do not know how to do them. Bye.
Oh, what is this? How did I get out here? What is this new dimension? Probably should have opened the window. Ooh, let's... He just has no idea. Oh, it's raining. It's coming down pretty bad, actually. Right as I do this. Well, I guess I'm the stupid one now. Yeah, that's coming down pretty bad. Yeah, I shouldn't do that.